Hey, what's popping everyone? Hitori here. Welcome to the 14th episode of the weekly market outlook with TRADEXPROP. Now, in this episode, I will be covering the dollar index, gold, and the S&P 500. If you have any other asset classes you would like me to cover, drop a comment down below in the comment section and I will do them in the next weekly market outlook. Alright, so if you've been following our social media platforms like Instagram or Twitter, you have seen that we have revamped TRADEXPROP to offer you better trading conditions and rules, right? Some of them include things like 80% profit split, 1 to 50 leverage, which is higher leverage compared to our previous leverages. But I think the most important one is actually the static drawdown, right? So we have static balance-based drawdown now across all of our evaluations, including the one step. So that I think might be the highlight of the revamp personally. Now, this also includes our prices have now become more competitive. So the team has been working tirelessly for the past few months to bring these changes to everyone. So if you are interested, we actually currently do have a promotion ongoing. You can go to our Twitter or even just to our website, TRADEXPROP.com. You will see a kind of like a banner down below. Use the code relaunch20 for a 20% discount from July 11th all the way to July 21st for a 20% discount off of this relaunch, right? So yeah, I'm very happy that the team was able to pull through after months of hard work to bring these changes, and hopefully that ensures more confidence that TRADEXPROP indeed is in this play for the long term. Okay, so yeah, I'll just keep the yapping to there and I'll get straight into the outlook. For more information, just go to our website, TRADEXPROP.com. Okay, so here we have the DXY monthly. Now, first thing I do on every single chart is I try to determine the storyline or what narrative am I currently in? Is it bullish or bearish, right? So on the monthly, we are actually in a bullish storyline because we turned bullish all the way here from this monthly open close support. We rejected it here, and we also had a weekly breakout. So monthly level, price on the weekly right here came down, tapped it, monthly reject monthly, weekly bullish breakout, which is what caused this monthly bullish storyline. Meaning, if we are monthly bullish, I'm going to be looking for longs at weekly supports. Okay, so that's what this storyline means. It keeps kind of like a clean interpretation and simple interpretation of what areas you should be looking to buy or sell at, or why you should even be looking to buy or sell at those levels, right? So a monthly bullish, looking to buy at weekly supports because we are monthly bullish. Now we are currently coming up to the third week of July, right? And the monthly candle at the moment has not closed. So what we can see from this candle is we had the open, we formed a little wick at the top, and we dropped down to where we currently are right now. So in the later weeks, we might see price continue lower into something down below here, and then to transverse higher back in form of a pullback after this candle is closed, kind of like this one right here. So that's what I'm expecting for the monthly candle of the DXY to happen. Next week, we could still see lower movements, and then we might see a pullback after we reach some weekly or daily levels, because at the moment the only monthly level that we could bounce off of is down here, this monthly traditional SNR. Everything here is not fresh. This isn't fresh, not fresh, not fresh. It's been tapped all the way here. This isn't fresh. So monthly all the way down here, and that is using common sense. We know that price is unlikely to just come straight down here all the way. The DXY probably isn't just gonna do this, right? But it is election period, so this could happen. But as traders, we want to kind of have a objective common sense approach to the markets. We don't want to like predict these kind of big moves happening without any confirmations whatsoever, right? So as of now on the monthly levels down here, but we could look to buy at weekly or daily levels at the moment. Okay, so that is it on the monthly. Let's shut down to the weekly. So same thing, weekly. What is the storyline? Bearish. I've noted down here to save time, but where did we turn bearish exactly? Well, we had this support right here, broken, became resistance, broken back up, became support, and then we broken back down, and this is what we call a left shoulder, which looks like this. Support breaks, becomes, sorry, resistance breaks, becomes support, price comes down, breaks it again, it becomes resistance again. So this kind of move is what we call a left shoulder, or a QM as you call it. It looks like a Quasimodo model, right? So same thing, you know, some people call it chalk, some people call it flip, some people call it QM, some people call it a market structure shift, but all of it is just a pattern in the market. The important is to understand what your higher time frame narrative is, because without your narrative, this pattern happens literally everywhere. So you have to understand why you're even looking for this pattern in the first place. So this is where we first turned, I mean, recently this is where we turned bearish right here. You can see we broke it right here with this weekly candle closure, came back up to retest it, and now we have had a weekly reject weekly, as well as a daily bearish breakout right here on the daily time frame. So let's just go back to the weekly. So monthly is bullish, but weekly is bearish. Now, whenever you have this kind of discrepancy between your narratives or storylines on different time frames, understand that the higher time frames will always be key, right? Because if monthly is bullish but weekly is bearish, it could mean that the weekly is forming this pullback on the monthly time frame. This is why the weekly turns bearish to turn back bullish again after we tapped into some weekly support. So at the moment, weekly is bearish because I'm expecting this move to be a pullback on the monthly. So we broke through this weekly support with a body closure, which is what turns this support now into a fresh resistance that we could see shorts from down into weekly supports. And at the moment, the only fresh weekly support nearby is this open close right here. We have this traditional SNR as well, but I will not draw them out. I mean, I could just like this, but just to keep the chart clean, understand that we could come back up and then come down into this weekly support to go bullish once again, right? We have this monthly level right here, which is this one. We believe that monthly support at the moment. So monthly hasn't ended, so we could see price gravitate back above this level to close with a wick beneath here on the monthly chart, if that makes sense. So coming into the weekly for next week, I'm expecting a movement like bam, 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 right? I mean, it could also come down here for sure. And if it does come down here, then I'll do the same thing. I'll just extend it lower and then I'll do that, right? So that's what I'm expecting for the weekly time frame to do at the moment. Of course, we could sweep all of this, not touch this, and then just go, because this is still pretty much equal lows right here. This is liquidity, but I'm expecting a reaction to this weekly level to go higher, sweeping out all of these sell side liquidities right here. So that's what I'm expecting at the moment for the DXY weekly. Going to the daily, same thing. What storyline are we in? We are currently in a bearish daily storyline. From where? Recently from here. We had this, technically this is that resistance right here, that open close. Price came up, we saw a daily reject daily, which means we rejected it with a wick with no body closure, and we had a 4-hour breakout. Let me just draw this 4-hour. We had a breakout around here, right? We had the breakout here. So we are currently daily bearish, which is in line with the weekly. So now weekly bearish, meaning you can sell from daily resistances, right? And at the moment we do have a few right here. We have one here, we have one up here, we have this daily support become resistance, this flip zone that coincides with the weekly. But at the moment, I personally am expecting us to just come up here, something within here, this nearest weekly level, to tap it and then go lower. So I'm expecting this move as well on the daily. And these are the daily supports, which are pretty high risk. Why? Because they are just above the weekly level. So if I know that there's a high chance that we could come down to the weekly to see a reaction, these daily levels, which are kind of in the way from like in between the way, at least from this weekly to this weekly, it's a bit less high probability for me, because I'm expecting the market to journey itself towards this level, which will in effect violate these daily supports. Right now, I won't say that they can't be respected. I'm just saying the odds are a bit lower. Definitely I'll have an alert set around here, and then once price comes to it, taps it, I'll look at the reaction to see if I could go long into some of the daily resistances or the weekly level right here. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting for the dollar index for next week, right? This RBS resistance becomes support, is fresh, untested, with a lot of liquidity above it. So something I drew out just to see. We also have this open close right here, open close support right here, which is really close to that weekly. So technically we could just do this, we could tap this as well as a weekly and then go. But the best refined daily support is right here at this traditional SNR, this traditional support just beneath that weekly support right here. So anything here and below is better in probability for me. Of course, it can't be to here, because that would be a really long wick on the weekly down to this support level right here. But it could happen, right? I don't want to predict too far out. I just want to have my levels drawn out, have a slight prediction, and then react when price reaches my areas of interest, right? So expecting a weekly open, high, low, pullback, close candle, right? So we could see a weekly reject weekly, and then after that we could see a weekly storyline start. But as of now, still bearish on the weekly, meaning you could still sell at any of the daily resistances that is newly formed, right? So you could sell when it comes down, comes up, sell once it reaches these levels right here. Be very cautious of getting into new shorts. Okay, so that is what I'm looking at the on the price chart. But let's look at the news, right? What is the news telling us, right? So next week we have Monday news, Tuesday news, Wednesday no news, Thursday no news, Thursday news, and Friday no news. So being able to read the calendar ahead of time is very important, because it will tell you when you can expect volatility in the market. So Monday we have Empire State Manufacturing Index, which is not that big of a deal for me, technically speaking. My big three is CPI, NFP, and FOMC, because those three directly correlates with the currency markets. But we do have retail sales as well as unemployment claims on Tuesday and Thursday. So we could see the early half of the week on Wednesday, right? We could see it tap into a large liquidity pool or a large area of interest right here, and then we could see that reversal during Thursday during unemployment claims, right? Friday has no news, so that is likely to be a pullback day or a rangy day on Friday. So expecting volatility on Monday and Tuesday. It depends on which day we tap into our areas of interest, and then it's likely to show us the further moves of the remainder of the week. All right, so keep this in mind. Movement Monday and Tuesday and Thursday, depending on where Monday and Tuesday taps first. If we come back up, Wednesday, Thursday could see expansion downwards, but if we come down lower straight off the bat, we could see Thursday and Friday expand higher. Okay, it depends on where we touch in the early half of the week, which is very important. Okay, so that is what I'm expecting for the DXY. We are 15 minutes in. I yapped a bit too much. Let's look at my favorite pair, gold. Okay, and everyone's favorite pair apparently. So monthly storyline, bullish. Where? Here. This open close support, price came down, did a monthly reject monthly, and an obvious weekly bullish breakout. You don't have to go down to you don't have to transverse down to the weekly to see this is a weekly bullish breakout. Okay, so monthly bullish, where are we currently at? So the nearest monthly level right here is this. Okay, this on some brokers is a doji, on some brokers it's a bullish one, so this could be a pretty hard level to guess, but if you wanted to, you could also do this. This is a monthly potential RBS, resistance breaks from support, but money candle hasn't closed yet, so I'll remove that and I'll wait to see and update that when the time comes. But at the moment, the nearest monthly level is this open close, which has not been tapped across many brokers. So it hasn't been tapped on forex.com, on IC markets. It also has not been tapped, as well as some other prop from brokers. This has not been tapped. So we could see in the future price coming down to this monthly to continue higher, right? And then once we come down, I'll look at the reaction. But of course, we have other levels down here as well, right? So I'll mark them out when time comes. But because this is the monthly, it's gonna take a while for price to come down to those levels. Okay, so monthly bullish means we can buy at weekly supports. Okay, so here we have the weekly time frame on gold. What are we looking at? So what is the storyline? Bullish, but next week we could potentially turn bearish, right? Because we came up last week into this weekly resistance right here. This candle has now closed, and we have closed as a weekly reject weekly. But we are not bearish until we go down to one time frame below that, which is the daily, and we see this traditional SNR get broken, because this is the last move before this tap. So if we see this, then we are weekly bearish. But look at how far away we are on the daily from this. This is like I think it's like 500 points. So that's crazy. So at the moment, we are still bullish on the weekly. Okay, we also have a newly formed weekly open close support right here. This is technically, let me see, technically this is this zone right here, right? I just drew a line for ease of visualization, but technically this is that area. So weekly reject weekly, we could see price come down to this weekly to continue higher, because we are monthly bullish, meaning buys at weekly support are viable. Okay, so currently we have a 200 pip range, 250 to play with, so we could definitely see price form any confirmations between these level right here. Like going lower, we are currently within this larger range. We also have this weekly RBS, resistance breaks from support. We have this open close as well. Technically this area looks like this. Oh bro, jeez, it looks like that. Okay, so we do have those levels to look at, to play from, but currently the nearest one is this one. Once this breaks, then I'll look to these levels down below here. Okay, but as of now, these two are the key levels that price could bounce between for next week. Okay, so we turn bullish around here, so we are still currently bullish on the weekly, meaning buys at supports daily supports are viable, right? Coming down to the daily right here, what storyline are we in? We are in a bullish storyline on a daily as well. So everything is bullish. You shouldn't be expecting a bearish market to come in, even though it could, but as of now it hasn't happened yet. So still look to buy at daily supports, right? So last week on Thursday, we came up to this open close resistance, daily reject daily, and then we have bearish breakout. But then we also came into doing Friday during PPI, we came into this this resistance become support right here. It looks like this. We tapped it, and then we had a really big pullback, which turned our storyline back into bullish for the daily. Okay, so remember, everything's bullish. You should be looking to buy at supports. At the moment, we are really far from forming a support, but we could come down here, form a support, and then look to buy up. This is no longer fresh, so you could look to buy when you can come down here, form a new support, and then buy to go higher, right? At the moment, we don't have any clean. This is not fresh, so we don't have any clean or fresh levels at the moment on the daily. So that's why I would probably just TP out at a fixed RR ratio or target some of these psychological rounded up number levels. Okay, so at the moment we could see a pullback into weekly to go higher, or something we like down here at this daily open close, daily SNR, this cluster of levels right here. We could see price come down here, tap this to go higher again. Gold does these type of moves very often. We just did it last week. So through news releases, do keep in mind that we could see these moves happen. Okay, so that is it for the gold. For gold. Now let's move on to our final pair of this outlook, which is the S&P 500. Same thing, every single time frame, every single asset class. What is my storyline? And here we are bullish on the monthly. Bullish where? Here, open close, monthly reject monthly, obvious weekly bullish breakout right here. And we never came in to tap any of these and respected any of these levels right here to change the storyline. So all the way from November of last year, we have been bullish for a lot of months, right? So what this means is you should be buying at weekly supports because we are monthly bullish. Okay, so at the moment this hasn't closed, so the nearest supports are around this area. This is not fresh, this is an open close. This resistance RBS has been tested here. It's not fresh anymore, but we could still come down to form a reaction, but we have this open close next to it. The next one nearby is this support, breaks becomes resistance, breaks back becomes support, as well as this traditional SNR level right here, this monthly level. So those are our nearby levels. We have nothing on the left because we are at all-time highs for the S&P 500. So let's drop down to the weekly to take a look at what's popping. Okay, so I'm gonna move this. So weekly storyline is bullish from where? Well, from this open close gap right here. We had a weekly reject weekly, as well as a really obvious daily breakout, right? You're gonna see it, it is right around here. Okay, so moving back to the weekly, we know that we are weekly bullish and monthly bullish, which means every time frame at the moment is aligned to be bullish. You could take really good buys off of daily and weekly supports. Okay, so on the weekly, you can see we are really just one push upwards. We have a lot of weekly supports to play from, which means that you're not gonna put a limit on all of these levels, right? You would ideally wait for them to come back down to it and then see a reaction and then enter off of that reaction, right? But if you do want to put just pure limits, you could just do the premium and discount matrix, right? We have this swing low to this potential swing highs. It's not confirmed yet, but this swing low, potential swing high, and you could take longs in any of these discounted fresh supports right here. But for us to come back down to discounted pricing, we have to turn bearish, but don't discount the fact that we are currently bullish on the monthly. So any bearish moves are likely just pullbacks. Okay, so at the moment, weekly bullish, we are at all-time highs. We have to drop down to the daily to look at more current levels to play from. So I have a few weekly supports drawn out right here, and understand that at the moment we do have this daily reject daily, right? Daily resistance, price came up, tapped it, rejected it. We haven't had a 4-hour breakout just yet. See, this is that level that transfers us to go into that daily level. Once we break it, then we could say, yeah, we are bearish daily, but at the moment we are still bullish daily because it hasn't happened yet. So we are still bullish from this open close, tapped it to go higher, and then we came into it recently and we rejected off of it. So in this one candle, right, we have tapped resistance and support. So why am I bullish is because we did have a 4-hour breakout like this, but we haven't had a bearish breakout. So bullish breakout, yes. Bearish breakout, no, which means we are currently bullish. You know, whatever storyline was started off of that tap is what bias or narrative I'm in for the specific time frame. In this case, it's a daily time frame. So as of now, remember, we are bullish across all time frames, right? We could see daily turn bearish to take us down into weekly supports to go higher, of course. All right, don't know what happened to the recording, but at the later parts it kind of bugged out and you couldn't hear my audio. But anyway, so I was saying daily we are bullish. Any pullbacks are likely to be just a pullback on the weekly into weekly supports to buy up. Why weekly supports? Because we are monthly bullish, meaning weekly supports are key areas to look for longs at. Okay, so these are high risk because these are in the middle of nowhere compared to these daily supports right here, which coincide really closely with this weekly supports right here. And as you know, any strategy that uses multi-time frame analysis, the higher time frames like monthly, weeklies, dailies, they are going to be a lot more important the higher they are. So monthly more important than weekly, weekly more important than daily in terms of the longer term picture. Okay, so these are not that pretty, I'd say, because they are in the middle of nowhere standalone levels compared to these. I'm not saying that they can't be played. I'm saying that the probabilities of these holding are going to be lower because let's say you want to buy here, price comes down, and then they break these levels to come down to these levels to long from, then you know that, oh, they didn't get respected because price was looking to go down to this really support to go long from. Right now you know why these probably didn't hold. So they could come down to give a reaction and you could take a quick scalp, or it could even, you know, reverse from here for sure if you do come down to these levels. But the odds of those happenings are going to be lower using logic compared to these levels showing a larger reaction purely because it is a weekly support. All right, so that was pretty much where I got cut off, I think, after reviewing the footage. So yeah, I'll yap a bit about just the TRADEXPROP team. You know, if you saw the revamp, you will know that these are good add-ons to our future clients, right? All the new improved trading conditions and rules. So I'm very proud to be saying that TRADEXPROP now is going to be implementing a lot more things in the future, which showcases to people that we are likely to be a long-term player in the game. We're not just here for a quick rug pull or cash grab. None of those things, right? If you knew how hard the team worked behind the scenes, you wouldn't say that, right? But because I've seen them work tirelessly throughout the months to bring you these good changes, you know, confidently I can say that we are here for the long term, right? We are also looking to add back MetaTrader 4 and 5 in the near term. I don't know exactly when, but you should be expecting them sometime soon. So platforms, CTrader, DXY, MT4, MT5, as well as GUI Trade. So all those platforms we choose, as well as 2-step and 1-step plans with static drawdown. Really great. Okay, so yep, I can't be more excited to say that I'm also expecting great things from the team. And peace.